Grace Edwards was born in 1869 in Sayville, a time when women had limited rights and were considered second-class citizens. Despite being born into an affluent family, she faced the same restrictions as other women of her time, including not being allowed to own property or vote. Grace's family were founding members of Sayville, and her father was a successful sea captain who later ran a dry goods business in Sayville. Growing up, Grace was surrounded by people who valued hard work, education, and strong faith. She became involved in the Sayville Congregational Church, where her father was a deacon. She also worked in her father's store as a bookkeeper before eventually moving on to become a bookkeeper at the Grand Central store across the street. Grace's involvement in the Christian Endeavors Society and the temperance movement led her to join the WCTU, one of the largest women's movements of the day that was heavily involved in the suffragette movement. Feeling a greater calling, Grace enrolled in a 3-year degree program at Hartford Seminary in 1902, and so impressed her teachers that she was asked to help a small church while its pastor was sick. Continuing her studies, Grace ministered to the small congregation at the South Congregational Church in Neapog, Connecticut, and her temporary position turned into a 25-year commitment as the church's pastor. In 1911, Grace achieved a rare feat for women of her time when she became an ordained minister. She also served as an interim pastor at the Bakersville Methodist Episcopal Church and was involved in many local groups supporting women's rights. In 1919, when the 19th Amendment was finally passed, granting women the right to vote, Grace was approached to run for public office and ultimately ran as an independent for the Connecticut House of Representatives and won in 1921. She was one of the first 5 women ever elected to the State House and continued to serve in public office for 2 terms. Grace met fellow House Representative George C. Kellogg, and they were married in 1928. Grace made frequent trips to Sayville throughout her life and retired as a pastor a few years after her marriage. She and George lived the rest of their lives in the family home in Neapog, Connecticut. Despite never graduating high school due to childhood illness, Grace became a pioneer in religious life and one of the first women ministers in America. She also helped make significant changes for women's rights and was one of the first women elected to public office in her state. Grace's life is a testament to hard work, dedication, and the pursuit of one's calling, and Sayville can be proud of the contributions of one of their own, Grace Edwards Kellogg.